What's up guys, Bonnie here coming at you with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today we need to talk about what is going to happen tomorrow. I'm not talking about the fact that Ninja is starting to play the game, which is kind of cool. Instead, I want to focus on what the regular people are going to be doing, which is the Spider Tournament with special conditions. Number one question, is it worth doing? Secondly, do you have a team for this? Do you need to go out of your way to do this? Can you do it with relatively accessible champions? Can you do it really fast? So in today's video, I want to go over what I'm going to be using, a couple of other options you might want to use, because I think it is going to be worth it. So all that said, let's get right to it. First thing you need to consider is which level of the spider dungeon can you do. If you are able to do stage 16, decent. If you're able to do stage 20, the best. If you can do 24 and 25, all right. But if you want to do this with free-to-play energy and get the last reward, which I'll get to in a second, I would suggest you aim for stage 20 or stage 16 or 24, depending on how much extra energy you think you have saved up. But if we break down the total amount of energy that you are going to get over the 3 days that this is live, it is usually enough for you to do this as free to play. And why do I say free to play? Well, for the simple fact that if we look at all the previous special condition tournaments that we've had, for example with the dragon, it was always about 2,000 points for a void shard. So that to me is a free void shard, and I certainly want to get all the possible void shards that I can get on this account. So here's another example. This one was Bannerlords, High Elves, Sacred Order, and Barbarians, basically the Telerians. All right, so this is what we're going to be working with today. And then for this one right here, Ogre Tribes, Lizardmen, Skinwalkers, and Orcs, again a void shard at 2,000 points. Here's another example, again 2,000 points for a void shard. Guys, this is worth it. Much better than the current dragon tournament we have ongoing. At least that's my opinion, simply because in the end game, your biggest game changers will come from void shards, void legendaries. Therefore, try and go for this. And like I said in the beginning, this can be relatively easy if you have the right champions, but maybe you don't. So we're going to explore a couple different teams here. Here's my short list. I do have a Septimus, so certainly going to have that guy in there. And I do have, let's say, a Stag Knight. I could always use that as well. I have the Archmage helmet, absolutely amazing for this here as well. As for the rares, I don't really have any of them built. Then for the High Elves, I certainly have an Arbiter. That is pretty good. A Terrell, Royal Guards, absolutely. So you can already see what the nuke builds are going to be for a very fast run. And then for the Sacred Order, I suppose Asherlon could be good, Martyr could be good if you want to do counter attack, but I don't think I will need to do that on my own account. Then we have, of course, an AoE HP burn champion. So if you have Mordecai and you don't have a lot of the big nukers, then this is probably your go-to team. Deacon Armstrong in here can be pretty good as well. I suppose Godseeker Anari could be absolutely amazing in there as well, but I don't really have that one built on my account. So I tried to use champions that are already geared on my account. I am trying to go at this with minimal investment. Of course, if you have Armigers, this is going to be your expert turn meter controllers right there. So even better if you have two, that is going to be absolutely amazing. Then for the Barbarians, there is a Salda Drakes. Kantra could be pretty useful as well. You have a lot of turn meter control here on Armina. Maybe you could do allies joint attack with Farokhin the Fat, especially if you have two AoE A1 champions like Soulbound Boyers. But again, if you're going out of your way to do this, if you need to spend like 40 million silver to gear all these champions, maybe it's not exactly worth it. All right, so now let's go check out some of the teams that I've tried out so far. Starting with probably one of the builds that most players are going to use. There's a second version to this, so let's go over first this run and then I'll show you the other one. It's pretty straightforward. You have your increased attack turn meter boost, although the increased attack is not doing a ton for your enemy max HP skills. We have one Royal Guard going, then we have the Septimus going, which has a little bit more power when the boss is above 50% HP. And as you can see right there, I didn't fully nuke this boss because I'm lacking the weaken, right? So you're your increased attack is good, but like it's not good enough. It's not going to do enough for this. Instead, what you would want is either that, the weaken debuff, or you would want to get like the increased crit damage buff if you have that on an other champion, which we do, and I'll show you in a second. So this ends up being a relatively long run simply because my gear isn't good enough for me to use this. The Arbiter here is a lot safer because you have your revive, but instead what you can do is drop your Arbiter and go and use your Archmage helmet. This guy does have the increased crit rate, increased crit damage buff for you, so it should make you hit a little bit harder with the enemy max HP. The risk to this is that if, let's say, your decreased defense does not land and you end up having to take more turns, you're probably going to wipe, all right? The boss is going to end up taking a turn, you don't have a revive, sorry, and then that's it. But overall, 13 seconds, not far off from my fastest ever run, which has like a Battle Khazar and whatnot in here. So I would assume most players are going to be doing this, and I will be sticking to Spider 20. The next team I want to show you guys is one that is way more accessible, and hopefully you have most of these champions. 2 uncommons should be easy. Guaranteed legendary, yes, Archmage, guaranteed from the normal Doom Tower, and finally Mordecai, which was part of the Underpriest Brogni fusion, which if for a lot of you guys you did not complete that, hopefully you got Mordecai. This is your AoE HP burn, and it works great. Even though we are on stage 20 and we are weak affinity, this guy is placing an HP burn and not hitting, therefore you should still get it across the board, assuming you have the right amount of accuracy. Then we have 2 trusty Armigers in Relentless gear. They don't need to be in Relentless gear, but it certainly helps. In fact, sometimes it's going to make the run a little bit longer because they take too many turns, but overall you certainly want to be able to control that turn meter. Don't think about doing stage 21 or 22, 23, 24, 25 with 2 Armigers only. It won't be enough for the turn meter control, all right? It works well on 20 because you don't get a reduced amount of turn meter, and of course you need still a lot of crowd control, which is why we have Salad Drakes and Archmage Helmet, which both of them have an AoE stun. So the stun is great because instead of, let's say, a provoke, it is completely eliminating the animation of the spiderlings. Problem is though, if you hit too hard, you're gonna kill the spiderlings, and then this will become a longer run, which is the case for me. I would have to tone down my champions for them to not hit as hard, so this could be even faster. But like I said before, I'm going about this literally no investment. I just grabbed my champions however they are on my account, put them in there and see how it plays. And so as you can see right here, we're going to be close to about 1 minute and 30 seconds, give or take, but it certainly is hopefully a better option for most of you guys. And I'll show the gear of all these champions after, obviously, but there you go, we're just about done. 1 minute and 30 seconds, one more tick or one more hit. Here we go, and right there. So 1 minute 30 seconds. It's a lot longer, but it's still viable. The last team I want to show you guys is the traditional tank build. You get a champion that is weak affinity to the boss to tank the boss or the spiderlings. In this case, the boss is not even going to take a turn because we're also relying on the good old turn meter control from 2 Armigers. The 2 Armigers are also our source of enemy max HP skills. In this case, they're not geared for max damage, so this run is very, very long. What we're also banking on is debuffs from Kantra the Cyclone, which is the one you see on the right here. Decreased attack. We have decreased defense from a Deacon Armstrong, as well as more turn meter control. We have a increased speed aura. We have an increased speed buff from Archmage Helmet, as well as increased crit rate, crit damage from his buffs as well. So all we're really trying to do here is to control the turn meter, buff up our 2 Armigers for them to hit as hard as possible, and then have Kantra tank on her own. She has a built-in heal, which makes this super safe. Like, I don't think you can die unless you get extremely unlucky with some of the procs, and also it relies on Armigers taking a lot of extra turns with Relentless gear so that you can hopefully get around to using their A2s a little bit more often. For all of these runs so far, I did not touch the AI. Maybe this could be optimized a little bit more, but as you saw with my first team, the 13 seconds or so, that's probably what I'm going to use, and I don't need to do anything for the AI control. So overall, these are the teams that I suggest you guys try to work with, as I assume these are the champions you have built on your account. If you're just starting starting out, chances are you don't have all of them, but hopefully there is something in there that can help you choose the right team for your account. Again, you want to go for that void shard. If you can get an extra void shard for free with free-to-play energy, I strongly suggest you do. Anyway, all that said, let's go check out their gear. Starting with Arbiter, which we saw a little bit before, but I don't really suggest you use her. This is my total stats right here. I've shown her multiple times before. It is available on my BGE's guide spreadsheet. The next one that we tried was a Kantra the Cyclone with a provoke set. She doesn't need a provoke set. A frost set might be a little bit better, but this is just sort of what I have on her for other content. In fact, for the Magma Dragon, her skills are not done. I will point that out. And then here are the masteries for that champion. The next one to cover would be our Sal the Drakes. Here are the masteries for this one. She is in a relentless set. She does have relatively high resistance and accuracy. This is for the hard Doom Tower. Then up next we would have let's do Septimus, which is in a savage set. He's certainly not over the top impressive, but 4.6k attack, 100% crit rate, 264% crit damage, which is decent. All the skills are done, however, on that champion. Then for the masteries, we have Helm Smasher for the tier 6. Up next we can look at, let's do Mordecai here, which doesn't have all his masteries done. I'm not sure why. I guess I didn't really need it, so I'm kind of saving this for the advanced missions. All the skills are done on this guy. And then for the gear, we are rocking perception pieces along with just random other pieces. He does have way too high accuracy for what you really need. You kind of cap out at 220, maybe 230 for the level 20 dungeons anyway, so just use this as a reference point. The speed requirements though are a little bit more important. Do pay attention to that because the order in which your champions go is obviously very important. Up next we can do our trusty Archmage helmet. I absolutely love this champion. I am still using him in a stun set. I think he's great. I have a dedicated build video for this guy as well. High resistance, high accuracy. This is for the hard Doom Tower. Again, all the skills are done. Masteries, here's what I'm using. Up next we can do the Tyrell, which I quickly showcased in there. Kind of just rocking, I guess, a clan boss build here. All the skills are done on this guy, and he has like lifesteal. He's basically only in my faction crypt right now, so I'm not looking to perfect him. Then we have Royal Guard number 1. This one is really fast. This is for Fire Knight 25. Yours does not need to be this fast for specifically that. He has relatively low attack, unfortunately. Decent amount of crit damage, only 86% crit rate. Well, don't forget, you are strong affinity, therefore you get that extra 15%, all right? So all the skills are done. Masteries, we do have flawless execution. For the second one, sorry, we have Helm Smasher. All the skills are also done, and we are also rocking a Savage set. He has a little bit more attack, but a lot less crit damage overall, and accuracy, don't care all that much. I think it's because, yeah, we have crit damage gloves. Anyway, so obviously you can kind of see the quality of Savage gear on my account. It's not exactly perfect yet. Let's keep going with a Deacon Armstrong here. He is in my arena in immunity gear. He does not need to be like this, so as long as you have the right speed, I think it's going to be all right. In fact, I probably have way too much here, way too much accuracy as well, but again, this is for the arena. All the skills are done. Masteries, Eagle Eye for the tier 6. Then let's keep going here. We've got the 2 Armigers. Yeah, let's do those. Armiger number 1 with Helm Smasher. All the skills are obviously done. Relentless. The gear is not fully maxed out. We have very low crit damage. Okay, so you can make that a lot faster if you push your crit damage way up there. But I decided to keep my better relentless gear for other champions because I don't use Armigers every day. The second one, same concept here. We are relatively low on the crit damage as well. Also kind of low on the accuracy because I don't have a banner. He's only level 50. So I suppose I could improve this, but again, if it works for the time being, I'm not too worried. And when I use them with Mordecai, I did have that increased accuracy aura, right? So that is a little bit more that I'm getting right there, but this is a little bit risky, so I would suggest you try and get more overall on that one. And then I think that's pretty much it, right? Just double checking. I did say Astrolon before. I suppose he could be good in there because of the AoE stun. If you're looking for some kind of like AoE nuker, I don't really use Astrolon except for faction crypt right now. And then here are the masteries. I did also talk about Soulbound Boyars real quick. Mine are not geared right now. I built 2 of them for the faction crypt, but also for the secret rooms of the hard Doom Tower. So anyway, that is the champions that I'm currently using, and I suggest you guys try and use as well. Do let me know which team you are going to use in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.